Absolutely. So, in your position, what would you give advice to somebody that wanted to be in your position? Say there's somebody watching this later that would love to be a DJ, wherever they are, like,
Hmm.
or, create some sort of platform where they kind of are a music curator, whatever the case is. Like, what would you give back, like, as your advice?
Okay, so as you said, platforms really come from, I guess, different sources. It doesn't have to be a radio
Hmm.
station, it could be a YouTube
Yeah.
channel, it could be a podcast.
Yes.
So, my main advice would be to carve your own path.
Mm.
You should be able to find, your niche. As you said a while ago, you should be able to find that area where you fit in. You don't have to conform to everyone else's, standards. You can make something that works for you.
Yeah.
And I think one of the most special things, one of the most important things is first to do it for yourself, to be that type of person you needed when you were younger, like what we
Yes.
were talking about a while ago.
I love
And
that.
everything could just snowball from there.
Yeah.
Just be really authentic who you are as a person, what you want to talk about, what you're passionate about. It's really important that you bank on that,
Mm-hmm.
because the ride to whatever goal you wish to achieve isn't going to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have that spark within you that won't die.
Yes.
So you have
I,
to feed that.
Yes, I would actually love to touch on that point. And I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you're a super busy person, so we'll wrap it up shortly. And I want to thank you again for taking the time. But I think that that is so important, actually. And I think that it kind of gets glossed over. Are some of the hardships that we all endure? Like people just see where we are now. And actually, before I even go into this, I want to reference. You mentioned very early in the beginning talking about how you looking at the first Wish exclusive performance to now. I recommend people do that when they want to start a YouTube channel. To me, I say, look, go back to when I first started. Go 6 months, watch those videos, then go sit like watch a video 6 months apart on my channel, and you'll see like this setup that I have now. It took 5 years to get. Like people think that it's automatic. They want to start where you are now, but like I'm like no no no. Go back 7 years ago when I started, and then see what it looked like, and then see the progression of year over year, like, and then you can have a real judgment. And I relate to that with the Wish exclusives you were saying. But I would love to know your perspective on just a couple, maybe one or two hardships that you can share, feel comfortable sharing, just because I think they get glossed over and people think it's a patty walk. Oh, she just is now in the top three, or she's a DJ at one of the top three radio stations. They don't see the hard work or the perseverance it took to get there.
Yeah, of course. I mean, just like a regular person, I too have, those moments where my self esteem isn't the best.
Sure.
When, of course, I doubt if I'm, doing the right thing, if I still
Sure.
have growth, if people actually listen. There's always thoughts like that. And I know those come around often, especially for people who are creatives like us.
Mm-hmm.
We would always have those moments where we're like, am I still, loving what I do? Of course,
Mm.
I would have those moments. And it doesn't help that sometimes just randomly, like for some reason, for example, the ratings would dip,
Yeah.
or the subscriber count wouldn't increase, or you have like unfollowers or stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Of course, those would get to you. But the good thing about me is, again, I'm a very optimistic
Mm-hmm.
person. I just learned how to disconnect from all of that.
Yeah.
I guess it's a skill and it's a blessing and also a curse that sometimes I don't get to absorb so many things, well, that much as I should have. I've always been that type of person who's a bit carefree. I know
Mm-hmm.
it's quite dangerous, but yeah, I would just like to think that, I mean, life, especially amidst the pandemic, is just fleeting. I mean, would you
Yeah.
rather just dwell on all of the negativities than live the life that you still have?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think what reminder always is something that I come back to is you shouldn't rush because you have your own story and your own
Mm.
timeline. You
Preach.
don't have to conform to whatever everyone else is experiencing or what everyone's doing.
Yeah.
We should stop romanticizing youth. You don't have to rush to accomplish everything in your
Mm.
20s. You could
Preach, man.
you
You
could just
yeah.
do whatever it
Absolutely.
is you want to do instead of dwelling on those mistakes that you had before. You
Yeah.
can use them as fuel for you to grow and like an extra push to help you better yourself.
Yeah.
Like, looking at those past videos, that could be, something that would, you know be that humbling experience that you're looking for, and be like,
Mm,
hey, I've actually come this far. I've done so many good things and so many things I never thought that I would do.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
always, I guess, remind yourself of why you started in the first place. Because in the process, there would always be, things that would discourage you. But if you have like that clear, well thought, that clear reminder of why you're doing this in the
Yeah.
first place, then that's going to put you back on track.
Absolutely. I relate to that so much. I think it is super, super important information and just mindsets. I hope people are absorbing this, that are watching now and after the fact. Rewind it 7 times because you definitely need to hear all that stuff. I need to hear all that stuff. It's so important. It's so true.